Well, welcome. My name is Kevin Thompson, and it's a joy to welcome you to Founders Day 2017. Founders Day is an important day in the life of this college for several reasons. Tonight, of course, we'll be enjoying a wonderful meal. We'll hear from two bright, capable students, and I know we'll be inspired by President Lucky and our keynote address from our board chairman, Dr. Alvin Parnell. But as I mentioned, Founders Day is important for several reasons. As this afternoon, our Board of Trustees conducted important college business by approving policy and action items which will continue to move Lindsey Wilson College forward as what we all know as one of the premier independent colleges in Kentucky. Some of the action items from today's board meeting included approval of an almost $60 million operating budget, promotions of 4 distinguished faculty members, Melissa Doan, Ashley Hancock, Derek Cotter, and Melinda Mays. The awarding of 2 honorary doctorates to longtime Lindsey Wilson College employees, Sue Coomer and Phil Hanna, who together, get this, who together have 70 years of service to Lindsey Wilson College. We also approved the naming of the Dr. Phil Aaron Cycling Complex. And we heard from Hannah McCandless as she addressed the board in her last meeting as our SGA president. And by the way, Hannah was also awarded the prestigious President's Award at Tuesday's Honors Convocation. So I don't know where you are, Hannah, but congratulations. What an accomplishment. Let's give her a hand of applause. And finally, and most important, the board approved the conferring of degrees to 252 graduates who will walk across the stage on Saturday, May 13th. And I'm going to ask you to applaud again because that's what we're here for. So I know you'll agree that for Lindsey Wilson to accomplish all these wonderful things, there are a lot of people helping to pull the wagon. And that's why you're here tonight, our donors, so we can say thank you for giving generously of your resources to help pull this wagon we call Lindsey Wilson College and partnering with us to change lives of students from across Kentucky and the world. So thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Emily Garrison to come forward. She is a senior from Williamstown, Kentucky, to give our invocation.
Will you bow with me? Our most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us all here tonight to gather in your name and to celebrate Founders Day and what you have given us and what we've done with this school. Dear God, I pray that you will watch over all of us and take care of us tonight. And thank you for getting everyone here safely, and please take us our separate ways when we go from here safely as well. Thank you for this day and everything that you give us, and thank you for this food. Help it to nourish our bodies, and thank you for the hands that prepared it. In your name I pray. Amen.
Just a few instructions as we begin to get ready for dinner. If you'd allow our head table and the Lindsey Wilson College singers to go through the buffet line first, and then you will be directed by a member of the college staff to go to the buffet table as well.
Known as Moses and also General Tubman, Harriet Tubman was a leader of the Underground Railroad. She found her own freedom from slavery in 1849 when she fled on foot from a plantation in Maryland. For a period spanning 10 years, some sources say she made 13 trips to and from the South, leading more than 70 slaves north to their freedom. A reward was offered for her capture, but her ingenuity meant she was never caught. In the Civil War, Tubman served as a nurse, a cook, and also a spy. In 1863, she became the first woman to lead an armed assault during the war. From our Peaches and Beaches tour in the southern cities, we present Harriet Tubman.
Keep out the devil, shut it up. like to ask Abby to read a section on a plaque that we're going to hang in our locker room, Coach Fuller, and we received on Tuesday at the Honors Convocation, and it said,
in recognition of the National Festival of the States performances for the 75th commemoration of the attack on Pearl Harbor, 2016.
So everyone's name in the group is on this. We hope you'll come by and take a look at the plaque, as well as the mosaic that's here. It is the Kentucky state flag in front of, or beside rather, the USS Missouri as it guards the Arizona site. And so we were honored to be Kentucky's representatives, and in the mosaic are 650 pictures taken by these students. So I think if you look really closely, you can see a lot of different things like Landon in a hula outfit, okay, and things like that. So do come by and take a look at this, as we have been so honored this year. It's been an incredible year for us, even so much that the Stephen Foster story, we collaborated with them during the observance at Pearl Harbor because we were to represent Kentucky. So the Stephen Foster story allowed us to use a part of their arrangement of My Old Kentucky Home. And I was just able to share with President Lucky that we've now been given exclusive rights that we can use this song at any time we like, so here at Lindsey Wilson. So we are thanking the Stephen Foster Association in Bardstown for their kindness and gifting to us the state song. So would you hear it now?
What a great job. How blessed we are to have Gerald Chapin and the Lindsey Wilson Singers. Let's give them one more round of applause. I can tell you that every single person here tonight is special, but I have a job to do, so I have to make some introductions. At the head table, to my left, I'd like to introduce Miss Mackenzie Montano. Mackenzie is a junior from Prospect, Kentucky, and she will be one of our student speakers tonight. Next to Mackenzie is Miss Lindsey Daniel. Lindsey is a local girl from Jamestown, Kentucky. She's a sophomore. She'll be sharing with us later. I'd like to introduce my wife, Donna Beth Thompson. So glad she could be here tonight. To my far right, Miss Bunny Parnell. She is the better half of our distinguished board chairman, Alan Parnell, who sits next to her. And then our First Lady, Elise Lucky. And of course, our President, Dr. Bill Lucky. We need to take a moment. What a great meal this was, and always is. Let's take a moment. Jeff Willis, Joanne Fanco, and the entire Lindsey Wilson dining staff. We had a group of trustees here today. We put them to work. They did a lot of good things in their meetings today. And I'd like to have all of our trustees, if you please stand and be recognized. We have lots of students here tonight, but we'd like to take a moment and recognize members of the student body who are Begley Scholars, the prestigious scholarship program here at the college. If you are a new or returning Begley Scholar or former Begley Scholar, would you please stand so we can recognize you? Tonight is about the connection between you, our donors, and our students. And there's no better way to strengthen that connection, to understand that connection more, than to hear from the lives and the people that you're helping to change. So at this point, we'd like to have our student speakers. I'd like to introduce Lindsey first, and she will be followed by Mackenzie.
Good evening. I would first like to say that I'm incredibly appreciative of President Lucky for allowing me to have the honor of speaking to all of you tonight. The feeling of having the opportunity to put into words what this institution has done for me is indescribable, but I promised Amy Thompson Wells I would try my best. My name is Lindsey Daniel, and I'm a sophomore at Lindsey Wilson College. I'm originally from Jamestown, which means I can go home anytime my family is having my favorite meal for dinner. I'm majoring in Human Services and Counseling and minoring in Communication. Statistically speaking, though, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm for parents who did not graduate high school, let alone even consider college. I'm from a mother who was incarcerated a majority of my childhood and a father who still cannot spell my name correctly. Man, if only they could see me now. Growing up, though, I found myself becoming friends with the popular kids, the ones that I thought had the perfect life. I would hide who I was from them because I was ashamed of this complicated life that I was chosen to live. However, this double life that I lived was exhausting. It was full of shame and guilt and embarrassment because of who I was or who I wasn't. In hindsight, I can assure you that I had an excellent life. Sure, my parents were absent, but my grandmother dedicated her life to providing for my siblings and me. She is my biggest fan and never fails to let me know how proud she is of all the things I've accomplished thus far. As I'm sure everyone in this room is aware, life specializes in throwing curveballs. My curveball came my sophomore year of high school. I lost my mother in a fatal car accident on October 24th, 2012, and while our relationship may have been anything but ordinary, we had a bond that extended far beyond any of the mistakes that either of us would make. She taught me the value of forgiveness and let me know that the choices I make today will affect my tomorrow. About 2 weeks after my mother's accident, I was called into the registrar's office at school, where I would be introduced to Tracy Pooler, who I learned was an admissions counselor from Lindsey Wilson College. She empathized with me and encouraged me to keep trying my hardest and to not let this tragedy deter the course of becoming the person I wanted to be, as if she had known me her entire life. I left the office feeling reassured, but slightly confused. How could a stranger speak to me with such certainty that this tragedy didn't have to keep me down? Little did I know that this encounter with Tracy would be only the beginning of an incredible journey that has already given me so much in just 2 short years. Fast forward to senior year, when a representative from Lindsey Wilson was at my school. I was ecstatic to see the woman who had helped me regain confidence to pick myself up and proceed with life, but she wasn't there. Instead, I was introduced to a woman who I now know would bend over backwards for me if necessary, and that person was Emily Carnell. Emily was genuine and made me feel like the most important person in the room. To this day, Emily and I have a bond that I value deeply. She introduced me to the Bonner Scholar Program, offered words of encouragement on the mornings of the ACT, gave me outfit advice for Scholars Day, and sent me countless newspaper clippings of my accomplishments, accompanied with notes that said she was proud of me. When it came time for financial aid packages to be presented, I had no clue what to expect. I was a strong student in high school, but I was from a low-income family that I knew would never be able to help me pay for my education. Upon receiving my financial aid package, I quickly realized that my dream of attending Lindsey Wilson College was no longer just a dream, it was a reality. I had earned an incredible academic scholarship, but it was also because of the generous contributions from the people like you who truly made it possible for me to attend such an upstanding institution. I have received the Cooley Endowed Scholarship and the Alumni Walkway and Friends Scholarship, and I'm so grateful for those investments that have contributed to my education. In the 2 years I've been at Lindsey Wilson, I have immersed myself in projects and taken advantage of opportunities that will have a lasting impact on my life. It's opportunities like the first-year Bonner trip to St. Augustine, where we work together to help a community rebuild and flourish. It's volunteering with elementary school children in the after-school program and delivering backpacks full of supplies to excited second graders through the first-year experience program. It's being challenged in Beretta Garner's group counseling class and bonding with classmates over shared experiences. It's watching prospective students fall in love with our campus on tours that I facilitate, or hear an incoming freshman tell you they can't wait to be at LWC permanently during orientation. It's being a friend for students as they adjust to college through the peer mentor program and serving with SGA to be a voice for everyone. In addition to these incredible opportunities, the people at Lindsey Wilson College have had a lasting impact on my life. People like President Lucky, whose door is always open, and genuine, caring individuals like Emily Carnell. It's people like Jennifer Firkin who have encouraged me and recognized my growth. It's professors like Ben Martin and Troy Elmore who push me to think and grow in the classroom. It's Dean Schmidt who encourages students to be their best selves. It's walking past Dr. Dean Adams and getting a fist bump. It's Tracy Pooler opening up her home for students to fellowship and be appreciated. Through these experiences and the interactions with people I've encountered, I completely understand why we reiterate that LWC is family. These individuals I mentioned and countless others have had either a direct or an indirect impact on my life and the lives of so many other students. So for those of you who sit in the crowd this evening and give of your time and treasure to the students of Lindsey Wilson College, be assured that you are making an impact. Lindsey Wilson College has opened up a world for me that I didn't know existed. I want to assure you that the Lindsey Daniel of 2 years ago is not the Lindsey Daniel that stands before you today. I'm grateful for the opportunities I've been given at Lindsey Wilson. I'm confident that I can pursue my dreams because of you. Because of you, I don't have to be ashamed of how I grew up, because I've had the opportunity to realize that those setbacks were temporary and ultimately helped shape me into the person that I am today. Because of you, I am a Blue Raider, and I'm not sure I could ever adequately thank everyone who has played a role in this incredible journey up to this point. Through my actions and dedications to this institution, I will continue showing me that the investments you're making are worthwhile. Tonight, I speak on behalf of every student at Lindsey Wilson College when I say thank you for all that you do for this campus that we have grown to consider home. Thank you for letting me share my story.
being able to speak in front of a room full of dedicated individuals such as yourself is beyond an honor. There are no words to begin to describe how thankful I am to have started my journey to adulthood at Lindsey Wilson College, but I'm going to do my best. I want to introduce myself for those that may have never seen my face or heard my name. I'm Mackenzie Montano, and I'm a junior here at Lindsey Wilson and a member of the volleyball team. The past 3 years have been nothing short of extraordinary for me. My journey begins with the fact that LWC was never in my options for college. Harsh, I'm aware. Actually, I signed my letter of intent to play volleyball at Queen's University of Charlotte in North Carolina and was beyond ready to move 8 hours away from the city that I grew up in. To say ending up at LWC was the second biggest shock in my life is an understatement. Now I want to prepare you guys for what may be a tearjerker to some or to all, so get your tissues ready. The biggest shock in my life began in the early morning hours of July 15th, 2014, and that's where my journey begins. I found myself rushing to Westport Place, an assisted living home in Louisville, at midnight, with my father and sister, who are right over here. My beautiful mother had just been battling stage 4 kidney cancer for under 2 years, and soon her fight was coming to an end. My mom grew her angel wings that morning, and she flew home to heaven. The chapter of my life that I knew for 18 years had just ended. My last 2 years of high school were filled with hospital visits, radiation treatments, hospital stays, doctor's appointment, you name it, I was there. As my sister was in college, that left me, a 16-year-old girl, in charge of balancing school, volleyball, and my mom's health. Luckily, I've been blessed with arguably one of the best fathers who stayed by my side through it all. My days and nights consisted of spending most of my time with my mom, and to say she is my best friend doesn't begin to describe the bond that we shared. Her only wish was to see me go off to college and watch me play collegiate volleyball, but that could never happen. One conversation that rings clear in my head is one of the last that I had with my mom. My aunt has suggested that we have the giving up talk. No one, no matter your age or your gender, wants to have that talk with a loved one, let alone your own parent. I was horrified when I realized that this talk may be the last time I spoke to her. As difficult as it was, I'm very grateful for that conversation. It went a little like this. Hey Mom, I know you're in pain, and I just want you to know that we will be okay when you decide to leave us. To her response, are you sure? I can stay a little longer, but not much. Mackenzie, I just want to see you go off to college and play volleyball, because I know you're going to be amazing. And Morgan, I just want to see you graduate college and become successful. To which we said, Mom, you will have the best view from heaven, and nobody wants to take that away from you. There were lots of tears and I loves in that conversation, and I was right. That was the last conversation I had with my mom, because in less than 24 hours, she would be gone. I had 2 weeks to decide if I wanted to go 8 hours away or figure out another plan. So I grabbed my phone and called Andy Cavins, the head coach at Lindsey Wilson, and his response to my desperate plea of finding somewhere to go was, send your application and we will do whatever we can to help you. Little did I know that those words would hold true for the entire LWC community. My first glimpse of campus came on the very last Edge Day, July 26th, if I remember correctly. Hang on, I'm gonna blow my nose really quick. Sorry. My initial thought was, wow, I didn't expect such a nice campus in such a small town. I walked into this very dining center, sat right back there, and it was like everyone already knew my story and how much help I really needed. I cried that day. wishing my mom could spend it with me, but I know she had her fair share of help in setting everything up, as she always does. I will never forget how welcomed I felt, and I left knowing that Lindsey Wilson was the only place for me at that very moment. There are 3 specific individuals that have been there for me every step of the way in my collegiate journey, and they all happen to be in this room tonight. Laura Burwash, Vincent Sexton, and Andy Kavins. Laura Burwash was my first advisor here at LWC. The first time I met Laura, she embraced me and we shared some tears as she had just recently lost her father. Like I said, it was like everyone already knew me and my story. I don't think I would have gotten through my freshman year without Laura. I spent countless hours in her office figuring out what I was going to do with my life, what classes I was going to take, and I may or may not have mentioned that I was probably dying in volleyball conditioning. In fact, last night I saw Laura for the first time in a few weeks at the L3 Leadership Banquet, and she met my boyfriend Brian for the first time and approved. So you're good. But after leaving the banquet, I received an email from Laura and that said, "You are the most genuine young lady and have impacted my life more than you will ever know. You touched my heart and life forever." Well, Laura, I'm here to tell you that you can't even imagine how much you've impacted my life. As you saw in my response, I said to her, "I'm beyond thankful to have your support and knowledge for a lifetime." The second individual is Vincent Sexton. Vincent is my current advisor, but is more like the knowledgeable uncle. My first experience with Vincent was in public speaking class freshman year. Since that class, Vincent has pushed me to be the best student I can be, and I credit my GPA to him in most cases. Whenever I wanted to take the less challenging class, he always, and I mean always, persuaded me to take the more challenging class, but I'm more than grateful for that. Vincent also sent me an email yesterday afternoon saying, "I'm so excited that you are speaking tomorrow night. Amy shared with me she arranged my reservation at your table. What an incredible privilege." Well, Vincent, it's my privilege. Laura and Vincent had no idea that they would be mentioned in this speech, and I believe that exemplifies the relationship that I have built with them. And last but certainly not least, comes Andy Kavins, or as I know him, Coach. Coach and I don't have the typical player-coach relationship. He's definitely my second dad. He has taught me to be a fierce competitor on and off the court and to always know my self-worth. There's not anything that Coach wouldn't do for me or my teammates. For example, I can text him and ask him for extra reps in setting, or for a ride to Campbellsville to pick up a rental car because you totaled yours. Sorry, Dad. Or to edit a paper because he was an English major, and he has and would do it in a heartbeat. When my mother passed away, Coach was off recruiting in a different state, and he called me to say that he was searching for the first flight home to make it to the visitation and to the funeral. I literally told him no, and to keep recruiting, and that I knew that he would be there if he could be. To my surprise, at my mom's visitation, Jess, Coach's wife, drove the hour and 45 minutes to Louisville to make sure that I knew that she and Coach would always be there for me. And they have never let me down, and I can't express my gratitude to both of them. Coach, Vincent, and Laura have made my journey at Lindsey much smoother than I ever thought imaginable. I'm lucky enough to have their support for a lifetime. It is the faculty and staff like them that makes LWC stand out amongst colleges across the country. Within the 3 years of being here, I've made some amazing memories. But maybe my favorite or a very special one that I hold really dear to my heart happened this past December. We had just won our quarterfinal match at the NAI National Volleyball Tournament, and we were heading to eat at our sponsor's restaurant. I found out on the bus that President Lucky and his wife Elise would be joining us, but upon arrival, I found myself across the table from these two amazing individuals. As we began discussing what we might eat and how we felt the game went, I remember thinking to myself, How many other student athletes can say that the president of their college knows them by name? And I know I'm not the only one that he knows. As the meal went on, our conversation shifted to how I got to LWC, and a very similar story was told. I had to hold back tears to realize that the reason that I'm at this school is because this amazing man to my right, he has given me this opportunity. Now whenever I see President Lucky and Elise, I am welcomed with open arms and the best set of hug a girl can get. Sorry. I can honestly say that LWC was and continues to be a blessing in disguise for me. From being completely clueless about the college to turning into a student and to be asked to speak at Founders Day exemplifies the experience that I've had thus far. LWC holds a special place in my heart and always will. Each and every day, I try to give back in the classroom and on the court to the place that gave me opportunity. A place that saw me as a grieving teenager and not just another statistic. A place that I consider my second home with my second family. I want to say thank you to the friends of the college, like yourselves, for giving so many young individuals a chance to reach their dreams. Thank you for giving students the opportunity to experience a place with a strong-willed, determined, compassionate staff. A staff that will push you beyond measures and challenge you to be great in every aspect of life. I am confident that I'm more than ready to take the next step after graduation, but I can honestly tell you that I will never be ready to leave my second home. Thank you.
Y'all drive safely going home. Gosh almighty. I have no idea how I'm supposed to follow that. There is nothing that trains you how to follow. Two amazing speeches. Thank you, Lindsey and Mackenzie, for sharing it so beautifully. Did they do an incredible job? Let's let them. You know, I just love Founders Day, not only because we get to hear from students like Lindsey and Mackenzie, but also because it gives us the perfect opportunity to thank each of you for investing in our precious students. You know, as I finished my 19th year as president and my 34th year at the college, this has been a difficult, emotional year from start to finish. We didn't even make it through September before one of our new freshmen, Brittany Taylor from Greene County, was killed in a car accident. And just 2 days ago, another freshman, Mercedes Smith, was laid to rest after being found unresponsive in the residence hall here on campus. We lost Catherine James in October, a cook here at the Dining Center for 15 years. I'm sure many of you have eaten meals that she's cooked. While many of us lost a dear friend in November when my longtime assistant, Nancy Sinclair, passed away after battling small cell lung cancer for 16 months. And then Dr. Mark Dunphy, professor of English, who served here for 25 years, passed away suddenly and unexpectedly in December. So it has been a tough year. And I know you well enough to know that it's been a difficult year for many of you. As I try to figure out how to be inspiring and how to try to lead during difficult times, I find myself being drawn to home, to my safe place, here on this campus with our precious students like Mackenzie and Lindsey that you heard from earlier tonight. It sounds cliche, it sounds corny, but it's true that LWC is family. I did not know what you all were going to say. LWC is family. We genuinely love each other and we actively care about each other and about this place. And that's not something that just happened last week, or last month, or last year. It was that way when I arrived in 1983, and I suspect it was that way from the very beginning, back in 1903. I think it's part of our institutional DNA to love fully and to love freely, to love fully and to love freely. That's who we are, and that's what we do. So if I haven't been out to visit with more of you, some of that has been because I have been in pain. And some of that has been because I've tried to be here on campus more for this family. And I'm not sure whether they needed me, but I know that I needed them. That's why Elise and I traveled with the football team to Montgomery, Alabama, with the wrestling team to Topeka, Kansas, with the volleyball team to Sioux City, Iowa, with the Begley Scholars to Chicago, the LWC Singers to Hawaii, the women's basketball team to Billings, Montana, the Bonner students to St. Augustine, Florida. The tennis team, we're going in a few weeks to Mobile, Alabama. It's why we watched Doubt and The Zoo Story and Educating Rita here on campus, performed by the Lindsey College theater program. That's why we've had more students in our home for breakfast and for dinners, for pizza and dessert, and for conversations, because LWC is family. Thank you for believing in our mission and for investing in our precious students. The head of this family, the person who inspires us all, is the chairman of our board of trustees. He is one of the most generous and one of the most positive, can-do people that you will ever meet. Please join me in welcoming our keynote speaker, my friend, Dr. Alan Parnell.
Well, how could you not be inspired and want to be part of Lindsey Wilson? I was thinking when I was preparing my talk, how can I tell my life story and not sound like I'm bragging? I don't want to do that because I've had an incredible life. Having left the little country down here, and it's been amazing. I was to say this, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. It reminds me of a story. This minister got up to preach one Sunday morning to a full house. Church was packed. He said, today, we're going to speak on perfection. He said, there's only been one man that's ever been perfect. To illustrate my point, if anybody here has been perfect, stand up. Well, to his amazement, this guy in the back stood up. He stood back and said, sir, are you saying you're perfect? He said, oh, no, sir. He said, I'm not perfect. I'm standing up for my wife's first husband. Said he was. And he said, I wish you hadn't died. Well, they say wisdom comes with age, and I guess I'm of age. I should learn a few things. I've learned one thing: you don't take a sleeping pill and an X-Lax at the same time. About 10 miles south of here. There was 7 of us. We grew up without electricity, without running water. I guess you could say we had running water, ran out of a gully down the way a bit. And we went to a one-room schoolhouse for 8 years. You got to hear the first grade taught 8 years. And by the time you got through the 8th grade, you know, you could have taught the first grade. But anyway, I came to Columbia, went to Columbia High School in Adair County. As a matter of fact, I see some people here. Lynn over here was one of the first seniors out of Adair County High, and I left Adair County High and went to General Electric, went to work on the assembly line there at GE, and it didn't take me very long to know that I did not want to work on the assembly line. If you ever worked on the assembly line, you've got something that's moving, and you have to move with it. You've got so much time. A bell rings, you run to the bathroom, get a Coke, 10 minutes, the bell rings, the line starts up. and the bell rings, you go take a 30-minute lunch, and I said, man, I'm not going to do this. And said, well, if you want to work up here, you got to have an education. You got to have more than the high school. So I went to night school, and a little bit later on, I was able to get into a 3-year general elective management program. Graduated from that. All the guys in there were industrial engineers. They were smart. I was a dumb one, but I made it through there anyway. And soon after that, I was promoted and ended up being over the shipping and receiving and all the materials that the building that burned down about 4 years ago. I spent 17 years in that building. So I know about hard work, and I want to tell you something. You young people, if you can believe it and dream it, you can achieve it. Because I'm a product of a very poor situation here in Adair County. And I'm proud to say that I'm from Adair County. I love being from Adair County. Well, after so many years at GE, I had spent 20 years there, I decided that I wanted to do something different. And a lot of people, you know, in life, you want to choose to do something different. Reminds me of a story of this old farmer. He had never flown in an airplane. He was getting on up in age, and he thought, well, I'd like for the wife and I to go fly in an airplane. So he goes over to the local airport. He talks to the pilot, said, never flown, like to fly. The pilot said, we can fix you up. He said, we'd be glad to take you up here. How much is it? $500. The old farmer's a little tight. He said, man, I didn't want to buy the plane. I just want to take a little ride. Started to walk away. The pilot wasn't to be outdone. He said, wait a minute here, old timer, come back. I'll tell you what I'll do. He said, if you can keep your mouth shut and don't mention a word, he said, I'll fly you for free. The old farmer knew if there's one thing to do, to keep his mouth shut. So they got in the plane and he took off, and what he didn't realize, this was a stunt pilot. He flew that plane upside down, did the barrel roll, the loop-de-loop. He finally gave up, almost shook the wings off, came down, looked back and said, well, old timer, I got to hand it to you. He said, you didn't make a sound. Said, it won't cost you a penny. The old farmer said, young man, I got it handed to you. He said, you almost got me there when the old lady fell out. But after I decided that I wanted to try something new after 20 years, I decided, I had my real estate license. I thought I'd sell real estate. And I found out in sales, you had to be pretty quick on your feet if you want to think. And I remember this story. Old boy went in the grocery store, walked in the produce department, got a head of lettuce, walked up to the boy and said, I want to buy half of a lettuce. The guy said, we can't sell you half of a lettuce. Well, that's all I want, the half of a lettuce. He said, where's the produce manager? So the boy took the lettuce back there, said to the produce manager, said, some fool wants to buy half of a lettuce. And he looked around, the guy followed him, and he said, this good man here wants to buy the other half. Well, I was in not very long into selling real estate. That wasn't my deal. You know, you got to be cut out to do something. So I didn't do too well in real estate. So I went back in manufacturing, which, you know, I was qualified to do. And a plant came in from California. They wanted a plant manager to run the plant, and I was fortunate enough to get that job. But after about 2 years, we made fireplace inserts. They went into new housing construction. This was in the late 70s. If you remember, interest rate went up to about 20–21%. So they quit building houses. They didn't need the product I was making. So then I said, well, I got to do something else. So I saw this ad where a guy needed a salesman for the trucking industry, wanted experience. So I applied, and I said, look, I can sell. I've never sold trucks, but I know how to do it. I said, I used to be at GE, and I was over all the shipping and receiving. I said, I can do it. He said, I believe you can. He gave me the job. Well, I did well. That was my forte, and I did really well. I ended up being the president of that company in about 3 years. Well, the president reneged on his commitment to me, so I said, well, I'm going to leave you, and I took another job as president for a company out of Detroit. After about 1.5 years building that company up, I got, you know, Dow, Corn and Freight, Ford Motor from GE, and built a company up. This guy, he kind of did the same thing, reneged on the commitment he made to me. So I said to my wife, Bonnie, you know what? I think I'll just start my own company. So I did. So I started my own trucking company, and I was a little naive cash flow. So it didn't take me long till I ran out of money. I applied for SBA loan. If any of you ever done an SBA loan, I'm telling you what, they'll take blood from you just about. Well, a year had gone by, and they kept giving me excuses. Well, we can't give you a loan. It's going to take something else. So I finally, one day, I was desperate. I think this is about 1990. I said, I've got to have this loan. They said, well, I'll tell you what, the loan committee's going to meet this Friday, and we'll decide whether or not you will get the loan. So prior to that Friday, on a Sunday afternoon, and I don't believe in being lucky, and I don't believe in coincidence, but I believe in the power of prayer. So my brother and I went downtown to the Citizens Fidelity Bank, Fields Jefferson. We walked around that 7 times, just like Joshua did Jericho when the walls came tumbling down. And we were just silent, praying that God give me favor. Well, we got a phone call on the Friday that said, your loan's been approved. Now, some people say, well, that was just going to happen. I'll tell you, had I been the loan manager, I would have turned me down because I didn't have the collateral to get that loan. But I got the loan, and that's kind of how we started off. And I was fortunate when we started the company. My wife did the payroll, and my daughter Cindy, who incidentally is a Lindsey grad. She was homecoming queen. She was Miss Lake Cumberland and a runner-up at Miss Kentucky pageant. So I get to hug the CEO every day as I go in. I'm still working at my age, and I don't want to give that up. You know, you people are so incredible here. You remind me of a story where this guy ran off into this ravine with his truck. He didn't know what he was going to do to get out. An old farmer came up the road with a mule. And he said, you got problems here? He said, yeah, I don't know how to get my truck out. I said, well, I think old Joe here can pull you out. He said, I don't believe old Joe can do it. He said, I think he can. They hooked old Joe to it. And the guy, old farmer said, get up, Joe, get up, Jack, Joe, Jack, pull, Joe, pull, Jack. And he pulled him out. And the guy said, that's amazing. How come you kept saying, come on, Joe, come on, Jack? He said, well, old Joe was blind. And he said, as long as he thinks he's got somebody else helping him to pull, he's willing to pull. The way you are here, as long as you've got other people pitching in, you're willing to do it. You are the most incredible people. You know, for 3 years now, I've given a chair challenge. And I don't think we can raise it higher enough, Kathy. I mean, we started out, I said I'll give $25,000. We get 500 donors in a 48-hour period. Well, you did it. And the next year, I think we did, I don't know, 50,000. You did it. Last year, I said, well, I'll give $100,000 if we can get 20 donors. I mean, 2,000 donors. Well, 1,500. We ended up at 2,000. 48 hours, we raised almost $500,000. You all are incredible. I've never seen anything like that. But let me tell you something about life. I don't want to sound prudish, but I do believe in the power of prayer. And about 8 years ago, I bought this little smart car. You know what a smart car is? A little car, you know, it's not too big. My wife said I was having a second childhood, but I wanted it. I thought they were cute. I bought one of the first ones in Louisville, a little convertible. I decided I'd drive that thing to Florida. So, well, you know, those things are run. I have a condo in Florida, so I drove that car down there, and I made it in 14 hours. Now, you got a time of land in all these places, but it's 900 miles. And you can do the math on it. It's almost 70, average almost 70 miles an hour. And I would pass people with that little smart car, and it'd aggravate them. And they would pass me, and on up the road, you'd see the lights going, and the police had pulled them over. And my brother said, you're causing all these people to get tickets. But nevertheless, I made it in 14 hours. Now, about a year and a half later, I decided that I was going to take my Lexus to Florida. Well, I drove the Lexus down there. It took me 14 hours. I made it in 14 hours. The Lexus made it 14 hours in the little smart car. But the Lexus was such a smoother ride. And I think as we go through life, sometimes we take the rough way of going through life, and there's an easier way to do it. Let me, I can tell your age here just a minute. How many of you remember the rabbit ears on a TV? Oh, a lot of you. Before you had cable. Well, you know, you get up and you say, honey, turn it a little to the left. No, a little bit more, and you get that picture coming in just right. And while you're up, change the station. Well, that kind of dates you, doesn't it? Well, you know, if antennas, the rabbit ears we used to call them, wasn't turned just right, you would not get a good reception. And you know, when you go through life, if you want power in your prayer life, you can't be harboring ill will towards somebody, jealousy, or involved in some dishonest scheme. If you want to have a prayer that's answered, you've got to kind of stay right with the Lord. See, He knows your thoughts, and you can't just say because I'm not thinking about it, He doesn't know about it. So we all should strive to live a good life. And I put everything that I've done, I have been so blessed with the company. Back in 2000, I decided that I was going to sell my company. Now, I could make enough money. I told my wife we could really live good. Well, the thing fell through. So about 6 years later, an NFL player came along. He retired from the Buffalo Bills. And he said, I'd like to buy your company. He offered me 7 times more than I tried to sell it for in 2000. Now, this is 6 years later. Well, it turned out that he couldn't come up with 25% of what he offered me, which was a pretty substantial offer. And I wouldn't carry the 25%. So ended up not selling. Last year, I had an offer that I turned down 50 times more than my original offer. It just tells you what the Lord has done. I give the Lord credit. Sometimes I go in, and we're probably the largest privately owned trucking company in the state of Kentucky. Now, you know there's a lot of big companies, but I'm talking about privately held. We have a wonderful company, and we honor the Lord. We operate on the golden rule. So anyway, it reminds me of a story that this old boy brought this Porsche automobile, and he was trying it out one day and got it on the highway doing 100 miles an hour, and he looked up and the police lights were coming behind him. He thought I'd have a little fun, so he goosed it up to 125. To his amazement, the cop was right behind him. He finally got it up to 140, and the cop, those lights was right behind him. He said, well, gee, this guy's serious. I better pull this thing over. So he pulled over, and this cop came up red-faced. He said, in my 25 years as a police officer, I've never chased anybody doing 140 miles an hour. I said, I'll tell you one thing. If you can give me some excuse I've never heard before, I'll let you go. If not, I'm putting you in handcuffs and taking you to jail right now. The old boy looked at him and said, well, you know, he said, 2 months ago, my wife ran away with a policeman, and when I saw those lights, I thought that was him bringing her back to me. Started out, the first time I did anything for Lindsey Wilson, I bought a brick. There's a brick out there that has Dr. Mercer's name on it. I thought, well, I should honor Dr. Mercer. I was named after him. He was good to me, gave me some opportunities I never had before. And then I would see a little something about Lindsey Wilson. I'd send in a little something. One day I went to see Dr. Gooden, he's a cardiologist in Louisville. And next thing I know, he's calling Dr. Lucky, and Dr. Lucky's called me and said, I'd like to come see you. So we chatted a little bit, and I think I gave you a $1,000 check. That's a start, anyway. So the rest of it, Dr. Lucky a little bit later on came to see me down in Florida and spent a night with me. And incidentally, Dr. Lucky and I got in a little smart car and tooed around. Our wives were out shopping, so they only left us a small car. But anyway, the rest is kind of history. I have been blessed incredibly, more than I could ever expect or imagine, and that's scripture, isn't it? And I've got an incredible family. All of my siblings, 5 brothers and 1 sister, are still living. 93, 91, sister just turned 90. She works 2 days a week at an auction house. And I'm reminded of the story of these 2 boys were friends. They grew up and grew apart, went their separate ways, and they ran into each other later on. One of the boys was driving a Mercedes. He said, man, what kind of job you got? You driving a Mercedes? He said, I don't have that kind of job. He said, my brother gave it to me. And the boy looked at him and said, I wish I could be a brother like that. Isn't that amazing? And I've had the privilege of being a brother like that. I've taken my siblings to all 50 states and done a lot in between. And I thank God that He's enabled me to do that. And I can tell you, my wife and I, we love Lindsey Wilson College. And we're going to continue to support, and I guess it's public record what we do for Lindsey Wilson. That's all right. But we've just begun on what we're going to do for Lindsey Wilson. I'll close with this story. this devout Catholic family had this girl became of courting age. And to their dismay, she started dating this old boy that was a Baptist. Her father said, "Daughter, how could you do that? Grandfather came over from Italy. We've been devout Catholic, and you're dating a Baptist boy." She said, "Dad, he's cute, and I really like him." He said, "Well, I'll tell you what, will you try to convert him to become a Catholic?" She said, "I'll work on it." About 3 weeks gone by, and they were having dinner one night. Said, "How are you coming along there with Robert? You about to convert him to become a Catholic?" She said, "Dad, I think I oversold him." "What do you mean you oversold him?" Said, "He wants to become a priest." In the 12th chapter of Luke, the 21st verse, a person is a food to store up earthly wealth and not have a rich relationship with God. And then in Proverbs, give freely and become more wealthy. Be stingy and lose everything. That's scripture, it's not me saying that. And I can tell you, in my life, the more I give, the more I have. I cannot believe that I was a little raggedy boy going to a one-room schoolhouse, and the Lord has blessed me so. And I got to say this, you people are phenomenal. You are really something, the way you give and the way you meet the need at Lindsey Wilson College. And I want to thank you because I know that you're going to continue to do so. So thank you so much, and God bless.
Thank you so much. What a great evening. Lindsey and Mackenzie, thank you for sharing your Lindsey story. President Lucky and Alan, thank you for inspiring us as you always do. And thank each one of you for being part of this special story, Lindsey Wilson. Hang on. The story's not finished, as you can tell by the kind of students that we have and the kind of leadership that we have and the kind of donors and friends of the college. This is just the beginning. Thank you all for being here tonight. I'd like to ask Reverend Matthew Abel. Matt is the Senior Christian Ministries major from E-Town, Kentucky, and he's going to be giving our benediction.
Good evening. I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight to the best place on earth. If you would stand as you're able in body or in spirit and receive this benediction. Let us pray. Merciful God, we thank you this evening for all of the ways you bless us each day. I thank you for every person who is gathered in this place and for their continued commitment to the students of Lindsey Wilson College. The ground on which we stand today has touched the lives of thousands of students throughout the years, including mine. I pray your blessing upon this campus, that it would continue to impact students both academically and spiritually for many years to come. Bless the hands and the feet of those whose kindness and generosity continues to enable Lindsey Wilson College to be an institution truly committed to every student every day. Now may our Lord Jesus Christ himself and God our Father, who loved us and gave us eternal comfort and good hope through grace, comfort your hearts and establish them in every good work and word. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, go in peace. God bless you.